Hey y'all, welcome and welcome back. Reese, say hi. If you've seen my couple of videos before, you know that I always have a cat disclaimer because she is always around here when she hears me talking, and I think it's very cute, except for the fact that her hair gets everywhere and I have allergies. But that's not the point of this video, sorry. I thought it would be fun today to go through my to-be-read book list for January of 2023. Not that I intend to read all of these books in January, but just this is where my to-be-read list is at for January of 2023. I know some people have like enormous, literally hundreds of books on their to-be-read. I'm not one of those people. I tend to go through the books that I read fairly quickly, so I don't amass like that many on my to-be-read list. No shame if you are one of those people, just it's not for me. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to take a quick look at the books that I'm hoping to read in the near future. So let's get started. All right, so right off the bat, we have Circe by Madeline Miller. I just finished reading Song of Achilles for the second time, and I'm working on a video for that book. Fabulous, absolutely loved it, so I immediately had to get another one of her books because I just enjoyed that one so much that I figured I will probably also like this one. So I'm excited to get into this, hoping it has kind of the same emotions that it elicits in me. Hi. Then we have A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. I hope I'm saying that right. My apologies if I'm not. I read this book when I was in high school. It was on like the required reading for me. And I remember disliking it only because it was required reading. As much as I love to read, obviously, I hated being told that I had to read a book. It was just something that I couldn't stand. So anything that was required, it didn't matter how good a book it was. I just disliked it because I didn't like being told that I was required to read it. But I thought it would be fun to revisit it. I know that it is pretty well acclaimed and like people tend to feel that it is an important book or it's a good book. So I wanted to go back and try to read it without the lens of I'm being forced to do this. I thought that I might like it more now. So I'm excited to give this a reread technically. Next up is this big boy, The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Very excited for this one. Obviously you can see this is an enormous book. If you know anything about it, you already know that it has like the reputation of being a very thick book. And that's honestly why I bought it. I'm not gonna lie, I saw this on TikTok and was like, that's a big one, I have to buy that. I didn't even read what it was about. But I did read the blurb since then. It sounds interesting enough. I have to be honest though, like a lot of fantasy books tend to sound the same, like all the same when I read the blurb. I don't know what it is. I think it's just like, because it's fantasy, it's in like a different setting. They all have kind of a similar theme, at least in my experience and in my opinion. That's not to say that it's bad. I just think that I'm gonna have to actually read this book to figure out why it is so hyped up, which is fine. I'm very happy to. I'm excited to get through this. It's gonna be a thick one, a nice long read, but that's why I bought it, why I'm excited for it. So this will be a nice fun one. Okay, listen. I need you to not judge me. This is Initiation. It's the Sex Wizards Book 1 by, I hope I'm saying this right again, Althea Faust. I'm not good at names, so I'm sorry again if I mispronounced that. This is also one where I didn't read anything about it. I saw it on TikTok and immediately bought it because it was like in the TikTok, and the way it was explained was that it is a fantasy novel, obviously, where the magic system is based on sexual type things. And I just thought that was very unique and interesting. I gotta be real with you. I thought that that would be really fascinating to read. I'm hoping that it's good because it's book 1. So there's gonna be more if I like this. After reading the back, I think that it could be good. Obviously, you never know till you actually read it. But yeah, this one, my husband was like high-key judging me for it because he actually bought this for me off of my Amazon wish list. And he was like, I can't believe that's on your list. But here we are. Hope it's good. The next one is The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. This one is set during the women's suffrage movement, and this is really interesting because it's about a girl who kind of realizes that there is a difference between the way that history and like words are written by men and the experiences of women that then go like disregarded because of the fact that most written stuff at this time period was written by men. And so she's like trying to fill in the gaps there. I thought that that sounded really, really cool. For those of you who don't know, I am trans, so I grew up as a woman. So that is, you know, kind of near and dear to my heart. This just sounded really interesting to me. I've always been both fascinated and horrified by the fact that history is inherently written by the people who are in power. And so a lot of people's stories go unwritten completely. So I thought that this would be a fun one to read. Not like fun because it's a serious topic, but I thought it would be very interesting. Second to last here, we're almost done. This is The Witch's Heart by Genevieve Gornishek. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to start looking up these names before I start these videos. I feel so terrible. But this tells a love story between a witch, whose name I also cannot pronounce, and the god Loki and their children. And yeah, I think it's fascinating. When I was a kid, was much more into like Greek mythology. I know a lot of kids had kind of like a Greek mythology phase that they went through. But as I grow older, I am more curious about other mythological stories. So this one is obviously based in Norse mythology. Thought this would be a fun little read. It is like fiction, so I don't know how accurate it will end up being to the Norse mythology, but it's based in that, and I thought it would be fun. And then lastly, we have ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is the first of a series, if you aren't familiar. And listen, I feel like for a long time, I'm very late on the bandwagon. I know that. I was seeing this book literally everywhere. People were talking about it all the time on the internet, and it was like really popular. And now I'm starting to see a lot more criticism. I'm sure there has always been criticism, but I'm seeing that more lately. And I just want to say, if you just dislike these books, that's totally fine. I get it. But with the criticism, I can't tell if it's a Harry Potter sort of scenario where you read the books and then you kind of realize later that there's a lot of stuff in there that is not so great, or if it's just something where, as far as I've seen, the majority of people who read these books are women. And so classically, women's interests are kind of looked down upon by other people, or they end up being shamed for their interests. So again, if you dislike it, that's a-okay. I'm just saying I don't know if like kind of the more mass criticism that I'm starting to see for this series is genuine, or it's just another thing where women are being judged for what they like. So I guess I will find out whenever I start reading it. I really hope that I like it, because from what I've heard about it, it could be really interesting if it's, you know, my cup of tea. So I hope it is. I hope that it's not actually bad. But I guess we're going to find out, so I'll get to that eventually. So yeah, guys, that is what is on my to-be-read list right now. I feel like there's a decent amount of variation in the types of stuff that I could be reading. A lot of fantasy, though, which is fascinating, because for a long time I was on like a mystery kick. Everything that I was reading was a mystery novel, and now I'm like kind of getting back into fantasy, so that's fun to see kind of the trends of what I read. But yeah, I have my little pile here. I'm very excited to get started on that this year. Let me know what you guys are going to be reading and what's on your to-be-read list down below. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys!